So on the last session, I mentioned the rewards and non-rewards, and I've spoken to you a couple of you about this, and how this motivational tip works is you have a goal that you want to achieve, and there's certain activity that you need to do in order to achieve that goal. So let's take, for example, some of you want to lose weight, and what we do is that, okay, so the activity that is required for that is obviously exercise and eat well, eat healthy. So that's your activity. What we do is to look at a 2-week process, and we break those activity into 2-week sections. So let's take an example of exercising 4 sessions a week and drinking 2 liters of water every day. That's your activity that will help you move closer to your goal. Once you've done it for 2 weeks, so you've commenced, 8 sessions for the fortnight and you've drunk 8 glasses every day, then you activate a reward, and that reward might be going to have a massage, buy a new piece of clothing, something that's going to motivate you to keep that activity going. But on the flip side, if you miss a training session or you drink 7 instead of 8 glasses, you need to have a non-reward. Now, a non-reward might be quite an emotional element, and that emotional element might be give $100 to your ex-partner, give your favorite piece of clothing to charity, something that's going to be real. Say no, I'm not going to do that. That's the thing that you need to do in a non-reward. So what you have is the carrot and the stick approach. What I will ask you to do before I continue, if you haven't muted your screen, can you do so, just because I'm just getting some feedback? That would be awesome. So Justin, we're going to come back to you in a second. Hold your horses there. And so what we want to do is have this reward and non-reward, so making sure that in 2-week intervals, because most of us can do an activity for 2 weeks. So when we go 6 weeks, sometimes the mind go, wow, that's just too far out. But if we look at intervals of 2 weeks, if it's cold calling, if it's ringing up people that you don't like to ring up, if it's to do research, whatever activity you need to do in relation to your goals, that's the activity you need to do, and have a reward and a non-reward associated to it. So your homework tonight is in relation to your activity, what reward and what non-reward are you going to assign for your activity over the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to get you to post it later on this evening, what's going to be your reward and what's going to be your non-reward. So that's your first bit of homework. The next tool is your why. We spoke initially about your why in relation to your goals. So why is it important that you achieve your goals? What is the goal all about? It's chunking higher in relation to what's your bigger picture of what is your why going to lead to. If you want to grow your business, well, why? What will that give you? If you want to, look and feel better, well, why? What will that give you? So it's looking at your goal, but chunking up to a higher level. I posted, this is a couple of weeks back, a great TED movie from Simon Sinek, and he really talks about a why. For those who own and operate their business, which is most of you here, it looks at your why in relation to your business and really communicating that. So it's a very important factor. So once again, if you haven't looked at that video, Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, I think it is, or C. You can Google him on TED. Awesome speaker, so highly recommended there. The last thing I would like to talk about this evening, before we hear from Justin, is the like versus dislike little tool. So this is an awesome aspect awesome tool when it comes to health and fitness. So this is how it works. For those who like something but they wish they didn't, put your hand up. So if those who like chocolate, for example, and wish that they didn't, or those who like ice cream and they wish they didn't, or those who like alcohol and wish they didn't, or those like bread and wish they didn't. So little things like that, this is a great little tool for you to do. And this is how it works. So what we're going to do, we're going to take chocolate for an example. So when we think of chocolate, an image comes up in our mind. And that piece of chocolate has a certain picture. That certain picture might be bright, might be dim, might be black or white or color, might be near or far in relation to the body, all these different characteristics of this picture. Now this picture of this chocolate might also have sounds associated to it. Might be a soft sound, might be a loud sound, it might be far or near or somewhere in relation to the body. And this picture might have a feeling associated to it. So when you eat the chocolate, you might have a feeling that comes over you. So these are what we call submodalities of the chocolate. The visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic, the sight, the sound, and the feeling, all the characteristics. They're the modalities, the submodalities are the subset of those. So what we do is that we have something that we don't like. And then we choose something of a similar characteristics, texture, of something that we really don't like. An example that I'm going to use tonight for chocolate is dog poo. That's right, dog poo. So when you think of dog poo, do you have a picture that comes up in your mind? It might be on the bottom of your shoe. It might be on the driveway. It might be in the park, when you're walking the dog. Whatever it is, there's a picture. And it might be small or it might be large. It might be in front of you. It might be underneath you. Whatever it is, you have a picture of dog poo. And then a sound might be associated with that dog poo. The sound of when you squish in with your shoe. Or the sound when your dog rolls in it. Whatever it is, there might be a sound associated to it. And the feeling of, the feeling of real, of grossness, whatever that is. It might be in the body or out of the body, whatever it is, there might be a feeling associated to it. So here's the trick. So now what I want you to do is to picture that chocolate again. Bring that picture of the chocolate up in your mind, and I want you to use the same submodalities that you use in the chocolate. So picture that chocolate underneath your shoe. Picture that chocolate, the sound of the dog poo as you walk over it. That picture of the dog poo, what's the feeling that you get when you squish into it? Right. Now, how do you like the chocolate now? So this is a great little tool. So if you don't like something, if you like something and you wish you dislike it, this is a great little tool. So people go, well, what about other aspects? Okay. If you like wine, change it for urine. That's always a good one. Bread, change it for dough. There's always something with the similar texture that's absolutely way gross than the thing that you like. I was presenting at a youth conference the other month, and I got one of the girls up on stage, and and we did this process, and she wanted to dislike coffee. She loved coffee, but she knows just wasn't serving her at this time, so she wanted to give coffee up. So we did this process, and there's a little bit more detail than I've just explained. And within 10 minutes, we worked through this, and she'd given up coffee. And this was over a month ago. She only emailed me the other day, and she still hasn't had a cup of coffee. So it's a cool little process that can really shift your way of thinking of something that you like that you don't necessarily want to like anymore. So when you think of those things that you want to dislike, just think of those things, those pictures, those sounds, and the feelings associated to those other aspects. So they're the three things that we've covered tonight: the rewards and non-rewards, which I want to see everyone's rewards and non-rewards later this evening. Your why, once again, just a reminder of the importance of your why. So go and have a look at Simon Sinek's TED movie. And your like versus dislike. It's a cool little tool for particularly on a health and fitness journey if you'd like to do that. So they're the three.